This is Luz Maria Sanchez, and I'm going to present the artwork Light White, Sound White, an interactive installation made between 2003 and 2004, and it was premiered at TEKS in Trondheim just on the 9th of February. So this interactive artwork has dialogue between the levels of what is content and what we understand as interaction. The piece can work in different levels, reacting to the presence of the public. And nowadays, when the public is really expecting artworks to be responsive and to have immediate changes when one crosses a door front or gets caught in a camera, I wanted to also reflect on the possibilities of having the actual individual triggering or activating the artwork. That is, the artwork, and depending on the setting, can work automatized for the public to trigger it, or like in the case of text that has specific elements, and it's the way it interacts with its own community. It is a small space, is a space that is welcomes different kind of projects from international artists. They do the Metamorph Biennial here. It has also a kind of public that is always looking for different ways of artworks made in the cutting edge with technology. So in this case, the proposal could be seen as quite different in a sense, because you have to actually activate it with a very mechanical and very straightforward action, which is pushing a button. Now, how the content and the interaction works together. We have a one-channel video screening that is floating in the gallery space, so to speak, that gives a little bit of depth and uncertainty about the hardware that is being put in place. And what we see there is different videos taking from floor to sky in the outdoors with several different kind of hardware, in this case mobile phones. There's no, the eye of the human is not behind this recordings. It's the eye of the camera trying to make sense of the different elements that they're having to deal with. And another part of the elements are, and to this levels of dialogue as part of the content, is the sound. The sound comes from a list of words that are written after the actual universe of what we see on the screen. The sky, the different kind of colors of the sky, the plants that are in the space where it was recorded, the trees, sometimes also it's like a meta thinking on the actual words about the voice, the emitter, the act of listening, the light, etc. And those words were feed into a machine. So through voice cloning, they were all made after my actual voice. And then they're coming on this 19-channel setting of loudspeakers. So regarding the theme of the artwork, it has to do with what I call the emergency in our environment. And this emergency in their environment has different sources, but a lot of them have to do with the political actions or inactions of the different governments at the global spectrum, and also had to do with the need of a capitalist gain in a yay or yay situation, where the actual surrounding doesn't have any value. So the artwork, in a way, brings into mind things like the ecocide, and in a way asks the visitor to reflect on its surroundings, but also to reflect on the surroundings not from the way we see our surroundings, which is always in a parallel way, but in this case to look at the surroundings from bottom to top, to see the sky and what is between the garden or the backyard full of snow into the sky and whatever happens in between. So this is a proposal for also another way of seeing nature from another perspective, maybe even from another scale. So this mechanical eye that is looking all the time at the sky is what I wanted also to bring into the conversation. And finally, this piece is allowing me to go back to my text-based artworks that I have been doing since 1998, and also to go back to thinking about Samuel Beckett and the concept that David Persh built around him, the self-dismantling machine, where this need to communicate through this strata, to these small bits of data, sometimes comes into a form that the public, the visitor, will find engaging, and sometimes we fail, and this kind of communication doesn't happen. That's why it's very important, this interactive element that seems to be so analog, and that I wanted to push forward. We need to willingly make the artwork to come alive. And then if we need to talk about what we're seeing, if we need to talk about what we're listening, then we can also stop and pause the artwork, which will not stop completely. It will go again to the role of these different images coming together. The artwork is never off. The artwork is always on with the images, and then we can hear the voice cloned sound elements that is almost like sound poetry, with these different words coming from different channels surrounding the visitor. And then we can just pause it a little bit with the sound and be able to dive into this kind of a window into the sky that we find in the middle of a gallery.